Hello and welcome back to another edition of Neighborhood Training. We're quickly working through the town of Falmouth. We are going to continue breaking apart this neck of land here. As we mentioned before, Acapesket. It's commonly known as. And we will zoom in here and take a look at the southern end of Acapesket. And in this presentation we're going to cover all of Acapesket Road from 28 and the 7Ls development, and then down in the Oak Grove, Pine Grove neighborhood down here, right on Vineyard Sound. But we'll just take a quick gander through there and look. We do see we have a neighborhood built up on here pretty well, and then we have this neighborhood here, the 7Ls development. And as we move down Acapesket, we have Woodland Road and quite a few houses on Woodland, and then down Acapesket. And we've already done Great Harbors and the Shoreward off of 28 area. And then we have this neighborhood here, the Carroll Ave, Irene Ave, Gary Ave neighborhood there off Acapesket. And then we have a few side roads, Getty, Sykes, and Green Cove over there, and then 28. The areas that we'll call target hazards, obviously, always are single-family homes, but in this area of Acapesket, we do have the commercial establishments right on the corner of 28. We have the PS Ideal oil business and the gym right here in the corner, and these apartments here. But also on Acapesket, a few of these houses, I believe this one here and a few right around in here, are multi-family apartments. They look like single-family dwellings, but they're really multi-family apartments. And that ends as we get down this area by Brigetti. I believe there's a couple right in here. Once we get down here, it becomes all single-family homes. In here, though, we do have the Green Harbor Motel. And there's a few buildings in there, and this back level here, hopefully we'll do a pre-plan at some point in cooperation with fire prevention, and we'll see that this back section here is two-story. The first entrance looks like it's all single-story, but then when you come around the back, it is a two-story motel occupancy, and that would be one of our target hazards. And as mentioned, these are all single-family homes. Some of them are still small cottages, and some of them have been tear downs, and quite a few little McMansions being built. So we'll take a quick look here at the town map, and we can see very quickly with this map that there's hydrants throughout this whole neighborhood. I don't see any area here that is without hydrants, or at least town water. That's what I use this map primarily for, is just to take a quick look at the system there. And I guess it's going to run a little slow, but there we go. We'll see even down here towards the Monot Road and Beach Street area, we do have hydrants there, so we're in good shape with that. Now we'll just kind of work our way down Acapesket, and down the end we do have Thatcher's Lane and Lewis Road here. There are no hydrants on Thatcher's Lane and Lewis, but the hydrants that are there are readily accessible right up here on 28 and then down over here by Casey's Way. So they're not much more than 600 feet away from there anyway. So we come down to Acapesca, we have Casey's Way. It's a fairly new housing development, probably within the past 10 or 15 years. Green Cove just as well. We will look at one of the houses here on Green Cove. We're going to go over the pictures. This house is very large. And we have Sykes Lane, Brigetti, that are right off of Acapesca. And then we come up to Old Bayberry Lane here, which backs up to Avalon in the Shorewood Drive neighborhood. And that's Bayberry, Old Bayberry, and then we have the Green Harbor Motel complex right here. As we can see, the two buildings. This one building, as we saw from the Google map, you can see this building. This building here, the roof is actually level with the terrain, so you really don't see it that well. I don't think we're gonna. Yeah, it's right. See this section right there? That's this building right here that also has motel units underneath here. So that's what we're looking at right there. You have to become familiar with that, we know. And then Thoreau Drive on the right, Thoreau, Pafford, and then we get into the Gary, Carroll, and Irene Ave neighborhood. Gary and Irene come off at Acapesca, and then Carroll Ave is a bit longer and runs all the way down. Now we'll see these roads on the map like Chambers Street. Those don't necessarily exist. If you drive down Acapesca, you'll see an opening between the two houses, and it looks like a gully down below there. It looks like perhaps someone at one time was thinking of doing that, but they don't really exist. One thing we need to tear out in this neighborhood here is this extension off of Gary right over here. Okay, these are all in a tricky area here, because there's this road called Lewis Neck Road, and you can see the numbers as they come up here. There's comes up to Gary, and then there's 28, 32, 35, and then you have 29 over here. So you say to yourself, how the heck does that happen, 29? But this is actually 29 Thoreau, but it's connected here with these roads off of here and Gary. And then if we look here, we have this little dirt path down here, Lewis Neck Road, which is, I wish the town would kind of clear this up, but apparently it's one of these old rights of way that exists, and it's real confusing here because Lewis Neck is a dirt road, and we look at these numbers. We can first look at Lewis Neck Road, okay, and look at these. You look at the way the numbers are running here. It's very, very odd. We have 10, and then 12, and then 20 and 32. So I don't know what their how that numbering system has evolved, but there are hydrants on Lewis Neck, and I drove down there, and this is not connected here, so I don't believe this is the extension of Lewis Neck. However, the numbers continue on down that way, so it's kind of messy. But Lewis Neck Road used to, if we will see this here, and it's worth looking at to just understand it, Lewis Neck used to come right through here, just beyond the entrance of Great Harbors. It used to cut through here and continue down. Well, What they've done is they've built a house here on 297 and blocked this road off here. So now the only way to Lewis Neck is off of the Gary and Irene Ave, but yet it still goes in behind these houses on Great Harbors and dead ends right here, but yet you've got these houses here, which there's a fence line that runs right down here, okay, and there is a hydrant here and here, so there are hydrants down there, but they're oddly numbered and difficult to access. It is a one-lane road, has existed for a very long time, but that's, be that as it may, that's what it is. Just be aware of it so we don't get tricked. That's Carroll Ave, runs all the way down to here. We're back at Pescott, and we will continue on. A lot of these houses along here, there used to be all cottages. Some of them are being torn down, and you'll see some pretty impressive houses being constructed in their place. And we'll walk down because I want to get onto Bog Street and Woodland, and we want to talk that Bog Street comes up, meets Woodland. Looks like there's a little right of way here, but there is, so you can walk through it, but it is blocked off, so there's no travel through there. Woodland used to be a dirt road, but recently has been paved, so it's pretty well accessible. And then we come up, the next area I want to look over, this is Bridge Street, and okay, Bridge Street runs down here, and there we go. And this map is kind of slow filling in here. Bridge Street and Vineyard, and to Ocean Ave. So Ocean Ave, Vineyard, Bridge, and then what I want to show here is this connection through a Bayview. Doesn't appear to be any houses addressed on Bayview, and just through here, this does not connect as well either. So we have Ocean Ave, Bridge, Vineyard in there, and then we're going to go across Minot Road and get into this neighborhood over here. We have Beach Street coming off over here, a dirt road here. There's no Harbor Ave there. So we have Beach Street, Bayview, and these are all dirt roads, and I drove through there. There aren't, some of the road signs aren't well established, and some of these roads are blocked off due to the tidal flats, so we do have to be aware of that. Beach Street, Bayview, and then Pine Grove runs through here. It's very low through here, but you can get through here, although Beach kind of peters out right here in this marsh here. So there's Beach Street on one part, but to get over here on this part of Beach Street, you have to come down Oak Grove. Oak Grove to Cove Street, you can get to these two houses. Pine Grove, Rawson, and Rawson kind of ends there. It shows here it goes through, it doesn't, it kind of ends up right over here. So Rawson, there's only 2 or 3 houses on it. So Rawson, Pine Grove, and luckily Pine Grove comes right off of Acapesket. So I always remember it as Pine Grove and Oak Grove come off Acapesket, and then Beach Street. Now Cove Street, we have to remember there's a Cove Road in North Falmouth and a Cove Street here. So that's where we really need to know our districts and really dig into this stuff. And then we'll get into the BelMar neighborhood. You may also have heard it called 7Ls for the people that developed it, Losordos. But if you paid attention in high school and in college, you'll recognize some of these names as being, if you're an English major, English literature, perhaps you'll remember these as famous poets. Ralph Waldo Emerson, Longfellow, Joyce Kilmer. That's how they got Joyce Street. over in Great Harbors, Joyce Street, Kilmer, Whittier, Irving, Cooper, and Alcott. Alcott starts over here at the beginning, so remember the low numbers are on this side, and the dispatchers need to pay attention to this as well. We need to always remember that Alcott is cut off right here at 63, so 63 and 73, the break-off points for Alcott. And Cooper, and then we have Shoreview Ave, and then we got to remember that that sounds like something that might be down in Sherwood off of 28. Okay, but it's that's Shore Crest, this is Shoreview, and it's not down it's right here. Alright, Cooper and Irving, Whittier, Kilmer, Longfellow, and Emerson, and so pretty well developed neighborhood there, all capes and ranches as well. Let's see, I want to get into, okay, alright, we want to come on, here we go. Okay, we're going to get up our pictures here. Excuse this a minute here, I didn't bring these up. These pictures of the neighborhood, I didn't bring them up quick here. So we'll just go right through this boring section here. Okay, this is the house I wanted to mention on Green Cove Road. Very large house. I probably almost say it's a good 6,000 square feet anyway. You go down the end of Green Cove, it's at least 5 anyway, but it's a pretty large house. You drive down the end, and pretty impressive. So you got to remember that is with these large houses, we got to remember the BTUs. We also remember high ceilings and large interior room volumes. Can hold the heat more, can hold more furniture, but also hold the heat. We won't feel that the heat. You could have perhaps a 10-foot ceiling here, and so there could be a lot of heat built up in the higher levels of the room, but when we're walking around or crawling around, it may be relatively cool. So there are a lot of issues with large homes that we don't deal with smaller places as much. Okay, and this is the Green Harbor Motel. We've driven by it a million times, but you can see the wood frame structures here. This is the main section of the hotel, and then when we go around back, we have the lower section over there. Pretty active in the summertime, not so active elsewhere. This house here, I wanted to point out, it's right off of Acapesket, and as you can see from this picture, and as you drive by it, it has definitely seen better days. So it doesn't even look like anybody's in it anymore, and so we would want to, doesn't look like anybody lives in there, but I can't say it's an abandoned home because we don't know, but it certainly looks like it's seen better days, and I would use a lot of caution if I were working in that, anywhere near that place. And bear with me here. Yep, these are a couple of houses on right on Acapesket. This is what's going on here. A lot of these small cottages that were here have been torn down, and this is what's sprouted up in their place. This place here is 3,000-4,000 square feet, and the same thing over here. So we do have good, current fire codes related to those homes, but we would have issues with that. And I wanted to point out the multifamily dwellings. This is just one of probably 5 or 6 right on Acapesket. 3 apartments in what looks like a single family dwelling. The clues, when we drive up to look, 3 mailboxes should tell us right away. We look at multiple electric meters, multiple cars, different places for people to put driveways. And I say that because when we give a size up, these are the things that we need to really focus on. So, this may trip us up. As we say, wood frame, single family home. Next thing you know, we've got probably, you could have 3 or 4 people in each apartment. So we have, 12 lives of exposure. We may search one level and have another level there. And here's our access here to the second floor. So it just makes it much more difficult, makes it much more manpower intensive, and also with our, our rescue, extinguishment, confinement. Our priorities, our fighting priorities, rescue being number 1. This is going to present us some larger rescue hazard. All right, and we'll just take a look. Okay, I want to get rid of that there. I want to just take a quick review of the BelMar and Acapesket neighborhoods. As we mentioned before, predominantly wood frame, single family. We do have the multifamilies. BelMar neighborhood is often referred to as 7Ls. So if someone mentions that, you should pick you right up. The roads that are in BelMar, famous poets, right? Alcott, we get a shore view, of course, is not. But Cooper, Irving, Whittier, Kilmer, Longfellow, Emerson, and then off of Acapesket, we should be keyed in on Thatcher's Lane, Lewis Road, Old Bayberry, Casey's, Green Cove, Sykes, and Old Bayberry. And then we have we have Thoreau and Lieutenant Pafford that run up, and then we have the Carroll Ave, Irene Ave, Gary Ave, little congregation of houses and streets in there, with Lewis Neck Road being that kind of odd dirt road behind them, and actually comes in behind some of the houses on Alcott in Great Harbors. Then we have Bog Street and Woodland that connect each other. And then we have this neighborhood here, the Oak Grove, Pine Grove, whoops. What was I thinking of doing there? Pine Grove, okay. Bayview, Rawson Street, and then Ocean Ave, Bridge Street, Vineyard Street. So what would be our target hazards if we had the Green Harbor Motel, and then the multifamily dwellings. Now for our response times, we kind of put on this just to see where, how far we got to go, and how far away these places are, and when we're going to get, and it relates to how quickly we're going to have water on a fire, or how quickly we're going to get an ambulance there. Obviously we want to target right for 4 to 6 minutes. We want to be inside of 6 minutes in order to be effective with advanced life support, but also with the fire attack. If we can get there, the quicker we can get there, the better. Station 5, 6 minutes, just under 3 miles. This is for Kilmer Road, 25 Kilmer, so we do have a little bit of driving in there to get there, but Station 1 is only about 1 mile away or a minute away. They come up by the Ocean Way. Now this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, and this is why this is important. We can, and it's important for several reasons. We stress over and over to the first due engine to lay in to the fire. Here's our first due, here's our second due. They're going to arrive right about at the same time. Okay. Here's our third due, or if one of those other stations is tied up, the ambulance call, and does not have manpower, or another engine call, this is where our help is going to be. 14 minutes away, 15 minutes away, 17 minutes away. Okay, that's it's quite a bit of time. If say one of these stations is tied up or busy, or we miss, we don't catch the hydrant, this engine has to catch the hydrant, and then we're waiting for another engine to come with more air packs or to pick up the hydrant, especially on something like the Green Harbor Motel or these multiple family dwellings when we are dealing with them. So that about wraps that up. A little bit longer neighborhood training this time, but we wanted to wrap up this neighborhood. I don't think we'll have too much of a problem there. This area here, just remember that there is sort of an empty garden or field area here. I don't think we'll have any brush fire issues there, but just to recall that there is. All right, well, that wraps up this week's neighborhood training. Until next time, stay safe and eat healthy.